To get a graded wash and to have a crisp, dark line and fade that line out, you want to start with your rounded brush, dip it in the color, and then kind of just do a little bit along that crisp line that you want. Then I got my brush wet, and now I'm going right next to that dark line with the water. I'm going to get more water, and then again go right next to where I laid down the water. And then each time that water touches the wet watercolor, it helps kind of bleed and fade out that first crisp line that we laid down. Now I'm just kind of pulling that value, that color in just to fill it. But now I'm going to try it again where I do a graded wash. Oh, I'm still trying to pull that color down with adding more water. All right, use your rounded brush, go into your dark color, lay down your line. Now you just want to do this in small bits because that will start drying to the paper pretty quick. So I'm just going to do it in those two little areas, and then wash your brush, and then just go right next to where you laid down that dark line. Wash your brush and try to pull that out, right? Bleed that out. Now I'm going to do it again, but in a bigger area. So I have my brush loaded with my color, and I'm doing bigger, broader brush strokes. Then again, get some water, wash that paint off, and then just touch the edge of what you painted. Try to fade it into the water. Get more water. Again, go into that edge, right? So then it kind of bleeds out. And you have that smooth gradation. That's your graded wash. All right, all around your word is the negative space or the background. So we don't just want to leave it all white. So right now I'm using what we're going to call a mop brush. This is really just a larger flat brush that you have, but we're using it as our mop brush. And I'm going to do wet on wet. So I'm getting the surface of the paper wet. I'm touching the last part of the watercolor I did. I'm getting some of the color onto the brush, and I'm putting that wet watercolor right onto the wet paper. Needing more color, mixing those two together, putting it straight onto the paper. More color, more paper. Since the paper is wet, as soon as the watercolor touches it, it should start to kind of bleed out and move, and it won't be just like the brush stroke that you're laying down. It'll kind of fade out. The edges will be soft. Getting more water, trying to smooth out what I did to do a graded wash, fade it out. All right, so you're going to do different texture, different effects. So right now I have rubbing alcohol, and I'm using an eyedropper, and you want to kind of move those drops around. Don't drop more than once in one area. Right here, I think I wasn't paying attention, and I did about 3 drops in one spot. And then that's going to dry a little differently. Now I'm also adding salt to have a different effect. And then what's nice about this is once it dries, you can go back and layer on top.